too many Americans say it already feels like we're in a deep recession. And that's because by old definition of recession, we are definitely already in one, even though the media and Biden's administration all try to lie and say we're not and change the definition. We all feel it in our pockets. I call it an inflationary recession. What we're going through right now, because we're definitely in a recession and we have inflationary costs at the same time. I'm not sure. I have to look back in history and see if this ever happened before where we had such high inflation while we were in a recession. But that's definitely what's going on now, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and take a look at what some people are saying around the country. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. Also, check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for news as well. All right, let's talk about this news. Are you deeply struggling right now? If so, I want you to know that you're not alone. The things that I'm about to share with you are not meant to be depressing. Rather, I hope that you will be encouraged to see that there are countless others in the exact same boat. Over the past few years, the cost of living has been rising much faster than paychecks have, and this have put enormous financial pressure on millions of American families. In some cases, families are dealing with extreme financial stress even though both parents are working good jobs. Virtually everything has become substantially more expensive, and so our money is not going nearly as far as it once did. A great example was given by um, uh, Tim from Timcast, and Tim had said he had placed a computer in his cart on Amazon, and it was a certain price. I can't remember the price. And then when he went to check it a few months later, the price had like went up substantially, where he no longer wanted to purchase that computer, and that's exactly what's going on with the cost of everything. Well, unfortunately, the mainstream media keeps telling us that everything is just fine. They keep telling us that we should stop our whining because we haven't officially entered a recession yet. But again, I've done videos on the old definition of recession and how they change what a recession actually is. But Deutsche Bank says that one is coming. In fact, analysts at the bank analysts at the bank are now warning that there is 100% chance that the U.S. is heading into one. They say odds of the U.S. recession have been hotly debated, with the labor market and consumer spending showing resiliency even after some of the most aggressive interest rate hikes in history. But Deutsche Bank sees 100% probability the U.S. will have one. If you want someone to blame, a Deutsche Bank says that we should blame our policymakers because they created the boom bust cycle that we are currently experiencing. And you best believe I do. I blame Biden and his policies. But, quote, the U.S. is heading for its first genuine policy led boom bust cycle in at least 4 decades, he writes. The inflation we see was induced largely by expansive fiscal and monetary policy, and the aggressive rate hikes needed to tame that have now materialized. Avoiding a hard landing would be historically unprecedented. Sadly, many families don't even want to imagine what harder times might look like because they are already deeply, deeply suffering right now. Recently, a very touching Facebook discussion was brought to my attention. In this discussion, people were sharing their financial struggles. I think that giving people an opportunity to vent and read the struggles of others help them to realize that they are not alone. You know, it helps them process their grief. And I talk about this a lot in therapy sessions of being able to process your thoughts and your griefs. So, if you're also struggling, I hope that the examples that I pulled out of the discussion will encourage you. You're not alone because there are millions of others out there that are just like you. So here's one, for example, quote, We're feeling it. It's embarrassing to admit we're struggling so much with what we make combined, but we aren't spenders. I broke down everything our money is going to, and they're genuinely all necessity things. Maybe I can penny pinch more with groceries and stuff, but I'm just completely overwhelmed with the fact that we're struggling so much for what our incomes are. Definitely feels like another depression. And that's exactly what's going on. Again, recession, depression, in the media is again, they're not even talking about either one, but we all feel it in our wallets. But here's another one. Quote, we make about 60K a year, and with inflation we're falling behind on our bills. We can't afford mortgage, utilities, and car payment, and food. We don't qualify for any kind of assistance whatsoever. I just got a second job, so hopefully that helps, but it's so hard right now. Another person said, quote, yes, 5 years ago, we could put money aside every month. Who was in office 5 years ago? Oh, yeah, that's right. Now we're pulling from savings every month, and we start and we make 20K more than we did then. So they're actually making more money than they did 5 years ago, but now struggling. And they go on to say that we do have a slightly higher mortgage now, though two more kids than we did then. It's rough. Another person said, I lost my job last year and I have to budget so much. I switched to Cricket, so the phone bill for two phones is $60 compared to 220 300 for Verizon. For food, I cook all the time, but I freeze our meat and I try to make multiple meals from that. Frozen veggies, freeze the bread so it doesn't go bad. I buy the um, Michelina, I'm not sure what that is, TV dinners that are like $1.30 for mac and cheese and fettuccine alfredo for my two boys, 6 and 1. I buy six, and those last for most of the week. I mean, this is just sad. All these people struggling, and it's not just poor people. This is middle class, upper middle class people that are even struggling. Here we go. So here's another one. So happy for summer to not have our school payment and less laundry. It's like I don't know how we are going to survive every month. And then I needed to go to the dentist, and now it's like I want to cry. So sad. Another person said, yes, when my husband first got his new job, at what the pay he deserved finally for all the experience he has had nearly 15 years in the same field of work, and we were like, finally we will be able to save money, and we were then this insane inflation hit, and it's like we are right back to where we were, especially this month, because we had to switch insurance plans, and that took money out of his paycheck. And at the same time, I was making some money to help out before, but I had a surgery and was down for a few weeks, and just now able to get back to fully helpful again. Budgeting is keeping us getting by, but we also have used the credit cards this past month to get by. So now it's a catch up game, and I will be looking uh, to work in some way again. I mean, just sad. More and more stories. Here's another one. It's not just you. Sometimes I have to choose what bill takes priority over another. I live paycheck to paycheck, and every penny is for a bill. There's never anything left over. I'm a single mom, but I've been a single mom on my own for years. I used to have money left over for my hair and fun things like jump time with the kiddos, but now all of our fun activities are fare free activities, like nature walks, swimming in ponds, hikes, etc. Because this mama is broke, waiting patiently for inflation to go down. Well, that's why a lot of people. I mean, I watched a video, like a man on the street video, when a guy went around asking people if they're voting for Trump, even with the indictment, or if they voting for Biden, and it was overwhelming majority of people saying, "I don't care anything about what people are saying about Trump, but I'm gonna vote for him because under him we were getting by a lot better. The economy was a lot better. We didn't have this inflation. We didn't have this recession, depression, and all this." And I was surprised by how many people And it was people of color. It was people of color from all walks of life were saying this. So, and I think the Democrats know this, and it's scaring them. That's exactly why they came with this indictment, thinking that it will hurt Trump. But this indictment actually is working against the Democrats because it's showing how petty they are, and a lot of people are awakened to that. Here's one more. I'm gonna give one more quote. Uh, More just to vent, but is anyone else struggling financially hard right now? Between my husband and I, we make 100K after taxes. So they make 100,000 as a family after taxes. So not bad, not amazing either. We both have pretty good jobs though, and we're struggling hard. We own a house, and outside of paying for mortgage, bills, food, and necessities, etc., it's like we have nothing left at the end of our paycheck. Is anyone else in a similar boat? Well, yes. All the majority of Americans are in that same boat with you, sadly. I could have included countless more examples, but I'll stop right there. I think that's enough. But as you can see, even those that are making 100K a year are really struggling. When I was growing up, I considered anyone that was making 100K a year to be extremely wealthy. All of the major economic trends, I'm sorry, times sure have changed since then. Sadly, this is just the beginning, and all the major economic trends are pointing in the wrong direction. And even the normally optimistic World Bank is warning that much rougher times are ahead. They said, quote, nearly all the economic forces that powered progress and prosperity over the last 3 decades are fading. The World Bank warned in a recent analysis, quote, the result could be a lost decade in the making, not just for some countries or regions as has occurred in the past, but for the entire world. Biden policies are destroying not only our country, but the entire world. That's why they're going to get rid of the petrodollar, and they got the BRICS going on, and our allies are turning their backs on us. All this stuff is happening under Biden. But a lot has happened between then and now. They go on to say a global pandemic hit, war erupted in Europe, tensions between the United States and China boiled, and inflation, thought to be safely stored away with disco album collections, returned with the vengeance. But as the dust has settled, it has suddenly seemed as if almost everything we thought we knew about the world economy was wrong. Now, ultimately, we are all in the same boat. We are all going to have to endure the exceedingly harsh economic environment that is in front of us. But hopefully, you are encouraged by the fact that you are not alone. Millions of other families are also deeply struggling, and at times like these, we are going to need one another more than ever before. We need to get together, band together, and we need to get rid of the current administration. That's the only way things are going to change, because this is what's going on right now is by design. This is exactly what China wants. He wants to bring down, they want to bring down the United States, and they're doing it through their avatar, Joe Biden. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.